Hello, everyone, and welcome to 2020 and a brand new episode of the JRPG Report. This is going to be episode 92. My name is James Fisher. Thank you so much for tuning in this year and every year to this weekly JRPG podcast. And let me be one of the first to wish you a very happy new year. As of this recording, it is the 2nd of January. And if you can't already tell, I'm a little soft-spoken. My voice has been run through the ringer these past few days as I managed to escape the nasty stomach bug that wiped off half of my family, but I did manage to pick up a little cold and some little coughing, a little sneezy, but we will get through this, no doubt. I do want to first and foremost, in addition to saying Happy New Year, of course, we did reach a milestone on the old Facebook page and got to number 100. So that's pretty cool. Actually, we're at 101 in no small part thanks to Kyle, Alec, and Josh, who all liked the page since the last podcast. So shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for, if you are a new or an old listener alike. Special shout out to my buddy Jeff, who reminded me that he was number 1 on that list way back when we started the page. The podcast has been going on and off for, I think, about 4 years now. I can't quite recall. Obviously, this is episode 92. When we first started, it was, I think I went monthly, and then it went to bi-weekly, and now we're rocking and rolling with every week. And it's all thanks to you guys for listening. And of course, as a show of support for that, we had our listener support giveaway, I guess is the proper word for it. And we did reach 5 supporters for that contest. So it is a go. I'm going to be making a video next week where I will have that drawing. So if you still want to get in on that you can. I haven't actually seen if anybody else has signed up for that. So I'll give you guys an extra week to get in on that, as things are a little hectic with the kiddos still being out of school this week and sickness and all. So haven't a chance to do that yet, but I will do that video for you guys so you can see, me putting the names in the hat. There's no funny business going on. It'll all be legit. And so yeah, if you want to go ahead and sign up for listener support, it's easy to do that. You find the link at the bottom of this podcast description. But yeah, thanks to you guys, we have a go on that contest. We don't have a ton of stuff to talk about today, as news was light. I figured it would be the week after Christmas and then before and during New Year's, as a lot of places are closed. But we did have a few pieces to talk about, and I want to talk about an interesting article. We'll kind of go through all the JRPGs that came out that I either played or didn't play. There's tons I didn't. And then talk about my very favorites. I don't want to say, use a term like JRPG of the year, because it's just me, and I can't tell you what the best one is because I haven't played them all. And even if you do play them all, to say which one is the best is not really fair. It's like saying what's the best movie to come out this year. Well, if I like action movies and you like dramas, we're probably not going to agree what the best movie of the year is. Same thing with games. Even in our genre, there's such differing of opinions on what makes a great JRPG. We have trouble even deciding on what the accepted definition of that term is outside of a Japanese developed game. But then you have games that are Western or European or outside Japan. I mean, we were getting tons of new developers popping up in Korea and even China now that are heavily influenced in JRPG style. So the definition is blurring. So I will tell you what game I have loved the most this year. We had some people chime in on the Facebook page. We'll talk about that as well, but we'll do that at the end of the podcast, let's talk about some of the news. And excuse me for any of those type of things. They're going to pop up for sure. A story that I didn't think would be a story, but we need to talk about it at least a little bit. And that is the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo. And if you recall back around like Gamescom and into various events other than that, there was some rumbles in the bushes about, hey, they developed this demo. People are playing the demo at these, gaming conventions. Would they bring this out as a playable demo to the masses? I speculated that they would, and indeed it looks like it is a thing. And so there is over 30 minutes of leaked footage out there now. I actually posted at least three, maybe four separate stories on the Facebook page about this story as it got updated a couple times. It started off with just a single image with the word demo under the Final Fantasy VII Remake logo with start game on there as well. So it's like, oh, this is definitely a thing. At the very bottom in small print, it says this demo represents a work in progress and may differ from the final product. So there are links to it's 30 minutes long, and it looks like there's 3 parts to it out there, but as of yesterday, they were only able to locate part 1 and part 3. The quote-unquote part 2 has either disappeared or be taken off. We're not exactly sure. Maybe there was something in there that they didn't want people seeing just yet or needs to be taken out. I'm not exactly sure. So I am not going to talk about what's in the demo. The video that I'll share on the YouTube video that I always do each week for the podcast, shout out to anybody who wants to watch it via YouTube, is just the opening intro. We've seen that before. It's just really cool to see it once again. As to when this is actually coming out, I think it could be pretty soon. We're at the very 1st of January, so I would say next couple weeks, this may go live on the PlayStation Store. And I think it's smart because also in the very top right of this opening image is you can press the options button to purchase it, which is something that they obviously would like for people to do. It's a easy way to get people to play your product and have direct sales. So it's kind of a no-brainer. Well, I will keep you posted as soon as something happens on that. Personally, I am not watching this footage. I can easily wait until I play the demo. I just think that's cool. And I hope that it'll give you the ability to save at the end of it so you don't have to go through all that again. So yeah, that's an interesting story. I didn't think that's something that we would be necessarily talking about, but it is out there. I had some short stories to kind of pass along to you guys. On January 16th, God Eater 3 version 2.3 will go live. Publisher Bandai Namco announced during their latest God Eater official broadcast. This update will include new background music added to the jukebox, an added new episode to the Traveling the Past thing, and then we will have, when version 2.4 comes out, they will add the Keith Pennywort and Neil Pennywort episodes. Version 2.5 will add the Ein episode. Also some new baddies for you to fight. New costumes have been added. There were some new balance adjustments as well. You can check out that full story on the Facebook page, as well as some additional system-related features. God Eater 3, of course, is available now for PS4, Switch, and PC. There was a single image screenshot posted for what is called Yokai Academy Y. Okay, no wait. Yokai Watch Jam, Yokai Academy Y. This is a new game in development, level 5. President Akihiro Hino posted this screenshot of the game. It's currently in development. That's about all we know about it. It is extremely early in development, so he said, according to Hino, this Yokai Academy game will have a different type of system compared to Yokai Watch. Further details were not announced. Digimon Survive got a bevy of new screenshots posted on its Weibo account back before Christmas. It featured new character Psyche, her partner Floamon, and the free movement system. Additional screenshots were also sent. Psyche is a first-year medical student with an honest personality who is freewheeling and goes with the flow. The free movement system allows the player to choose where to go on the map and who to talk to. You can deepen your bonds through conversations. So yeah, there was about 10 or so images that were released. You can check those out on Facebook, or like I said earlier, you can check it out on the YouTube video that I make for the podcast each and every week. Digimon Survive is due out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC worldwide in 2020. In Japan, it will only be released for PS4 and Switch. Kind of makes sense. There was a new playthrough video. This was over an hour long that came out for Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris during the Dengeki PlayStation broadcast. The first scene is a long version of Alison and Isuna's first encounter, while the second is in-game producer Fatumi's favorite scene. This game is due out for PS4, Xbox One, and PC via Steam on May 21st, 2020 in Japan, and the next day in the Americas and Europe. If you would like to skip ahead on that live stream that I've got linked on the Facebook page, it is in the 53rd, almost 54th minute, so you have to skip quite a bit away to get to that new stuff. As pictures, the game is shaping up very nicely, and got a little bit more ways to go, so they've got some fine tuning to do. Had a bit of a sad story, something we've speculated on in the past, but it doesn't seem like it is going to happen. Bandai Namco Original IP Games Project General Manager, we'll just say Harada, has confirmed that a Xenosaga remaster was considered, but ultimately shot down by the company. Here's a quote. A Xenosaga collection actually progressed to the remaster's plan, but failed in a profitable market analysis, he said in a tweet. Sorry guys, this plan will be difficult to resurface, end quote. Really kind of a bummer news. Xenosaga, in particular the first and the third one, were some of my higher rated PS2 games. I really enjoyed that series. Even part 2 was well made as well, but that series, while it was all on PS2 software, it was incredible because you really saw the graphical leap in each installment. Most of the time, if you get a game that comes out on a system and there's a sequel, let alone 2 sequels, you're lucky if you see any difference. But it was really cool to see the progression in that series, and the game got better each time as well as the graphics did. So this is really a bummer story. And as I talked about with a few people in the group, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Obviously these people are professionals. You can't just do things willy-nilly. You go through these market analyses to see if it's profitable, but this is a different age, and I can't imagine brushing this thing up and releasing it digitally would not bring about a profit. But maybe they looked at that as well and just determined that it could not be done. So if you were hoping that, with the Xenoblade success and that Chronicles 1 getting a remaster, that maybe this would be down the line, I don't think it's going to happen. If there was ever a time for it to happen, it was now. And it's no more. And as as somebody said, I can't remember, it was like, no more Cosmos. No more. Sad day indeed. There was an interesting quote that came out from Dragon Quest series creator and game designer Yuri Hora. He posted a Happy New Year's card and message on Twitter where he looks back on the series releases and announcements from 2019, as well as a bit of a look ahead to part 12, perhaps. So here is the full message. Happy New Year. In addition to what he says in the card below, there are some things that I still cannot say, but as for Dragon Quest 12, it is still a little while ahead. However, there may be things we can release before that. Please give me your support again this year. Happy New Year. Last year we released Dragon Quest movie, Dragon Quest Your Story, as well as the Switch version for Dragon Quest XI. We also released Dragon Quest Walk for smartphones and announced the anime and game editions for Dragon Quest The Adventures of Dai. And now, 33 years after the first game, I'm extremely happy that we'll be able to challenge new things such as the production as Dragon Quest XII. To all the fans who have supported Dragon Quest thus this far, as well as the many staff who has sustained it, thank you so much. While I'm not sure how long I'll be able to keep this up, I want to work as hard as I can for a little while longer. May this year be a wonderful one for everyone. Please give me your support again this year. So yeah, it's not a lot in there, but it is interesting. In particular, the end of it. He says, I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to keep this up. The man is getting older for sure, and I'm sure he wants to retire at some point. Maybe he takes more of a backseat in development with 12. I can't imagine that. If anything, you would have imagined he might have retired after 11, but this is a PlayStation 5 game, guys. It's not coming out anytime soon. We may get that first inkling of something. Let's see if the PS5 comes out this fall or into winter. I'm guessing next springish. We may get a first tidbit of it. It's going to be a while. And it'll be incredible. It'll be worth the wait. These games take a long time, and it'll take even longer to get over to our shores. So the next things I want to talk about, there was 2 articles that kind of talked about developers' plans for 2020. There's some interesting tidbits in there, and then we'll talk about all the great JRPGs that came out in 2020 after we take a break and have a word from our sponsor. All right, guys, let's wrap it up with some opinions from, or not opinions, but statements from some of the companies that kind of tells what they are working on. And I won't read you every bit of them. We'll kind of just single out a few of them. Atlas had an interesting quote, and this is from the latest issue of Weekly Famitsu, and it featured New Year's cards from these companies. So Atlas said, we are currently working hard on developing Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Project Re-Fantasy. 2 games that we are eagerly looking forward to. I am quite concerned about Shin Megami Tensei. It has been a while since we heard anything about that game, so that may be a ways off, and even more ways off, Project Re-Fantasy. We've not heard one peep from that game outside that initial had that odd trailer and set of images along with it. Obviously, they need to wrap up all their Persona 5 dealings and then move forward with that. Project Re Fantasy is a PS5 game. That's obvious. Shin Megami Tensei says it's a Switch game. The game may outlast the system at this rate. We'll just have to wait and see. Nippon Ichi said that sequel preparations are underway. We're hoping to prepare an original lineup for 2021 and onward that is uniquely Nippon Ichi software. So that's kind of an interesting statement. That's not saying a whole lot for this year now, is it? In other messages, that this was from Idea Factory. They said, thanks to you, the Neptunia series will celebrate its 10th anniversary in 2020. We are working hard on the development of VVV Tunia and E-Ninja Newtonia in hopes to please the fans, so please look forward to them. I hadn't heard the E-Ninja one before. That may be more of an offshoot. This other statement from Atlas, from Shinjaro Takatada. He says, we will deliver more news on the long-awaited Shin Megami Tensei 5, so please look forward to it. So that's basically what they're saying, is this year we will finally hear something about this game, and hopefully a little bit more. Also from Atlas, this is from Katsura Hashino. We are challenging a new RPG at the studio we started several years ago, Project Re Fantasy. In my previous title, Persona 5, I think we were able to deliver the fun of an Atlas RPG to users around the world. But what can we create if we commit our efforts to a fantasy RPG? I hope we'll be able to make an official announcement soon. Also from Atlas, from Kazuhisha Wada. I am valuing and taking one step at a time towards the 25th anniversary of Persona approaching in 2021. That's really cool, guys. I did not realize that Persona is turning 25 now next year in 2021. What does that mean? Usually when an anniversary comes about, that means we get remasters. As far as I know, they've never really done anything with Persona 1 and 2. Those were PlayStation titles. I think they got re-releases on PSP of some sorts, but those could easily be redone, maybe even remade completely into playable games. I jumped into this series with Part 3. I never went back and played 1 and 2. It didn't look like anything I needed to do. And then, of course, we may get some sort of modern release remaster for 3 and 4 as well. I'd love to see that with some modern hardware next year. We'll just have to wait and see. From other ones, JRPG, Square Enix. This is from Akitoshi Kawazu. The Saga series is finally 30 years old, starting with the Romanza Saga Orchestra in February, which we're doing as a 30th anniversary event. We're planning various game and non-game related things, so please look forward to them. We didn't talk about this game last week, but Yusuke Sato says Babylon's Fall, which recently had a new trailer, will begin full-scale promotion. I didn't talk about that game because it does look like a straight-up action game along the lines of like a Nier Automata. Maybe we'll start talking about that one as I see a little bit more about it and gain some insight into it. It looks incredible. It looks like a game I want to play, but I try to limit to more traditional JRPGs, as you have no doubt noticed over the years. He also said various things and unannounced titles are simultaneously in the works for Nier's 10th anniversary, which will be announced at the proper timing. Please look forward to that. We've speculated quite a bit about a re-release for Nier on its 10th anniversary. Also from Square Enix, from Naoka Yoshida, he says, with new hardware announced, it will be the start of a new generation for the games industry. I hope to challenge that milestone with the full effort of the third development division. Let's see, what else in this one? Here we go. This is from Nippon Ichi. He says, oh boy, I can't even get close to this guy's name. I'm sorry. So Nikawa. Over the last few years, we have focused on the development of new titles. As a next step, we want to focus our effort on sequels that thoroughly echo the voices of the fans. We are paying attention to new platforms such as PlayStation 5. We want to make preparations to release a title for the platform as early as possible. That'd be a good step for them. They should definitely try to do that. A company called Bokuro, in his Yako Taro, says 2020 is the 10th anniversary of the Nier series, which I directed, and will be full of various events. In other words, there are many deadlines in many ways. I've already reached my limit for next year, or rather, I have reached my limit. That's an interesting quote. From Platinum Games, this guy, Hideki Kamara, says 2020 will definitely be a year of change for Platinum, but it's super secret, so I can't say anything. Very nice. Level 5's Akihiro Hino says, while I can't share any details yet, we plan on trying something new outside of games, anime, and movies, so please look forward to it. That's interesting. Games, anime, movies. Doesn't leave a whole lot of anything left, is it? I'm scrolling through this really long title. Bandai Namco Katsuhiro Harada. In 2020, titles that we have prepared, as well as still unannounced titles, will certainly release. No, not fighting games. But personally, I want to get ready to work on something new and big. I want to dive in again. Making games is truly fun. And I think that's about it. Yep, that's all of it. So, some interesting little snippets in there. Purposely vague, of course, but they're in there nonetheless. So let's talk to what we've been wanting to talk about all day long, and that is, what were some of the biggest JRPGs of 2019? What were some of your favorites? And what were some of my favorites? This goes month by month, the list that I had out there. And so we'll just go down the list of ones that kind of stick out, because this was an RPG list, so I kind of gotta go through it and get just the ones out. We had Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story plus Bowser Jr. Story for the 3DS. This is all from January. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Fairy Fencer F Advent Dark Force for the Switch. Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition. We had A Grand Legacy, Tale of the Fate Bounds for the Switch. We had Kingdom Hearts 3. We'll talk about a little bit more of that one a little bit later. God Eater 3 released in February. Yokai Watch 3. Final Fantasy IX finally made its way to Xbox One and Switch. Death End Request came out for PS4. Nier Automata Game of the Yoha Edition came out at the end of February, and I picked that one up at Christmas. I'm looking forward. It is now square in the backlog, and hopefully will find its way to the top here pretty soon. March releases, we had the Caligula Effect Overdose. We had the first Cold Steel re-release, Legend of Heroes Decisive Edition on PS4. Final Fantasy VII came out for Xbox One and Switch. Nelki and the Legendary Alchemist came out for PS4, Switch, and PC. Into April, we had, I'm trying not to say PC games. Final Fantasy X and 2 and 2 Remaster came out for Xbox One and Switch. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen Remaster came out for Switch. Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age for Xbox One and Switch. In May, Death End Request finally came out on PC. We had Atelier Lula. The Sign of Arlen came out PS4, Switch, and PC. Switch version of Sword Art Online Hollow Realization came out. Into June, Persona Q2 New Sim Labyrinth for the 3DS came out. Cold Steel 2 Relentless Edition came out for PS4. PC finally got Octopath Traveler. Excuse me. Dragonstar Varner came out for PS4. God Wars Complete Legend came out for PC. Super Neptunia RPG came out for PS4, Switch, and PC. In July, the third expansion for Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers came out for PS4 and PC. Dragon Quest Builders 2, Switch and PS4. God Eater 3 came out for the Switch. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, came out for Switch. And Fire Emblem 3 Houses came out for the Switch. In August, we had the Switch version of Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition. Grande HD Collection came out for the Switch. Anunnaki, PS4, Switch, and PC. The physical Switch collection for a collection of Mana came out. Crystar came out for PS4 and PC. September, the Final Fantasy Final Fantasy VIII Remastered came out for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion came out. Caravan Stories got a release. Borderlands 3, PS4, Xbox One, PC. The remaster of Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch, came out PS4, PC, and Switch. Dragon Quest XI-S Echoes of Elusive Age Definitive Edition for the Switch. And of course, the first 3 Dragon Quest games also came out for the Switch in that month, as well as Code Vein for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. October saw the recent foresaw. Super Robot Wars 5 for the Switch. The Grand Legacy came out for Xbox One and PS4. The Alliance Alive HD Remaster, PS4 and Switch. Dragonstar Veneer made it onto PC. Mist Over came out for PS4, Switch, and PC. The Witcher 3 got a release on Switch. Grandia HD came out for PC. Little Town Hero made it out for the Switch. Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 3 for the PS4. Murder Skelter 2 came out for the Switch. Disgaea 4 Complete Plus for PS4 and Switch. And Atelier Raza, Ever Darkness and the Secret Hideout, PS4, Switch, and PC. In November, Conception Plus, Maidens of the 12 Stars, PS4 and PC. Romancing Saga 3 came out for everything. Pokemon Sword and Shield for the Switch. And in December, Saga Scarlet Grace Ambitions for everything. Star Ocean First Departure R, PS4 and Switch. And that's about it. I probably missed a couple of them in there, but those were the big ones that we definitely talked about at some point during the year. Like I said, I'm sure we missed one, and it was something that may have gotten left off this list. First, let's go to what you guys said were your favorite JRPGs of the year. Dalton says, okay, mine for sure is Fire Emblem 3 Houses. Hard to go wrong with that one. Jake said, Pokemon Sword and Shield was a great game and a huge step forward for the franchise. Star Ocean R was a great stepping stone for making Star Ocean 2 R a reality. I've talked with Jake a couple times. Star Ocean 2 was his one of his favorite games of all time, and he can't wait for that to happen. And Dragon Quest XI for the Switch was epic. With all due respect to those games, Cold Steel 3 is my pick, and isn't even close. He says, James, I know you are still playing through it. If you don't pick this game as your favorite, I'll be very curious to see if the end game changes your mind. He can't wait to hear my thoughts. I'll give them here shortly. Hans says, Dragon Quest XI, Tales of Vesperia, Ni no Kuni 3, or Ni no Kuni Remastered. All three were great. He said he is playing Reign Historia Perfect Chronology on the 3DS and is enjoying that one as well. Dalton also said that Dragon Quest XI for the Switch was way up there as well. So, that's what you guys said. What do I think? So, the best games that I played this year, and I can't say Atelier Ryza is on there because I haven't played it yet. I think it is deserving of a top of the list. I think Sword and Shield is probably deserving up there as well as Fire Emblem. Both games I have not gotten a chance to play. For me, I thoroughly loved every minute of Tales of Vesperia. It was fantastic. I cannot give enough praise for that game. It deservedly got, you ask people what their favorite Tales game is, a lot of people will say that title, and now I understand why. It is awesome in every aspect. I cannot wait to get it on PS4 and play it again. I had a thought in my head. Ni no Kuni Remastered obviously deserves to be on that list as well. I haven't played the remaster, but Part 3 is my favorite PS3 game. Part 1 was my favorite PlayStation 3 game, which made me so much more disappointed with Part 2. Now, Kingdom Hearts 3. Love it or hate it, I endured it. I had an interesting conversation with my brother this past weekend when he was in visiting, and he kind of shared the same opinion that we just didn't love the game. There's a multitude of reasons, I guess, why, and they've probably all been stated on here before. So I wouldn't even put this on my top 5 for the year, which is extremely disappointing for how long we waited for that game. It just didn't live up to it. So that leaves... I didn't play Dragon Quest XI, obviously, either, for the Switch, but Dragon Quest XI is one of my favorite games of all time, and this one always seems to have done it better. I will play it eventually. It obviously deserves to be on the very top of the list, but for me, Jake, you're right, it's Cold Steel 3. Granted, I have not beaten it yet, but no matter what happens at the end of this game, knowing there's a part 4, so it doesn't matter what happens. It's not going to change my opinion of how, I won't say perfect, but as near to perfect a JRPG experience can get. If you want a crazy deep story, beautiful graphics, great voice acting, absolutely near flawless battle system with still turn-based, but with each button on a face button on the controller makes it very fast, like it was in Persona 5. It's hard for me to really go against it. The battles can be a little repetitive because you kind of use the same strategy for most of them, but boss battles really change that up and make it very challenging. I've certainly died my fair share of times and or been pushed to the brink and really had to change things up and make a strong comeback. It's a game that every time I fire it up with as little time as I have to play games anymore, I'm so thrilled to do it every single time. The only thing I don't love about it is some of the new characters. Like, I really grew up loving the ones for the first two. And while they all are in this game in some capacity, they're not a main part of your fighting. And that's a little sad, but the new ones aren't terrible. They just haven't grown on me. Like, you play multiple playthroughs of the first two, you get attached to some people for sure. So yeah, it's Cold Steel 3. That's my favorite. I can't speak for you what your favorite is. That's great. Whatever it is, you should make sure you join in on the thread and let me know. That's going to do it for today. Like I said, next week I'll do that video and post it on the Facebook page for the winners of the contest. You still got a little bit of time to get in on that before I make a drawing. I'll do it next Thursday. I'll post it along with the new podcast next week. And maybe we'll take another glance ahead to see what games we've got coming out. It may be another slow week, so I may need to rustle up a topic for us to talk about. Thanks again so much for tuning in this week. Don't forget, give us a like on Facebook. Give us a sub on YouTube. I'm still always accepting listener support. And if you will head over to wherever you listen to this and give us a nothing less than 5-star rating, of course. No, give us a rating. I would really appreciate a review. That always helps bump us up. My name is James Fisher. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 92 of the JRPG Report. We'll see you back again next week. But until then, get back out there and level up.